Let's be honest. We live in a world that is literally engineered to steal your attention. So how in the world are you supposed to get anything meaningful done? Well, today, we're going to crack open the playbook from computer science professor Dr. Cal Newport to build a whole new way of thinking about focus. And trust me, it might just change everything about how you work.
You know the feeling, right? You get to the end of a long day. Your inbox is at zero, you've jumped between a dozen meetings, answered 100 messages. But when you look back, you realize you haven't actually moved forward on your real work. You're not alone. This is the central sickness of modern work. And today, we're going to figure out what it is and, more importantly, how to cure it. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into the productivity trap that so many of us are caught in. Then we'll get to the good stuff, the deep work revelation, and a surprising truth about how we really learn. After that, we'll build out your focus toolkit, and we'll finish up with the final piece of the puzzle, reclaiming your mind. Okay, so first things first. Before you can solve a problem, you have to be able to name it. And the problem with how we work today isn't that we're lazy. Oh no, it's that we're putting all our energy in completely the wrong places. Cal Newport has a brilliant term for this, pseudo productivity. Think about it. For a lot of us, it's kind of hard to point to a finished thing at the end of the day and say, I made that. So instead, we've started using visible activity as a stand-in for actual progress. Rapidly firing off emails, being always on Slack. It looks like you're working hard, so you feel productive even if you're just spinning your wheels. And the real damage from all this busy work is this catastrophic pileup of task switches. See, every single time you just glance at an email or a notification, your brain has to stop what it's doing and try to shift gears. But you switch back so fast, you leave behind this mental clutter, this cognitive residue that makes it impossible to ever think clearly about one thing. And if you think I'm exaggerating, get a load of this. A study from Rescue Time found that the average knowledge worker spends just 5 minutes on a task before checking their email or Slack. 5! That means we are actively choosing to shatter our own attention spans every 300 seconds. I mean, how is anyone supposed to do any kind of serious, high-level thinking in that environment? The answer is, you can't. So, if that constant, shallow, frantic busy work is the poison, what's the antidote? Well, it's a really simple idea, but it's also profoundly powerful, and it's at the very core of everything Cal Newport talks about. And here it is. The answer is deep work. And this is so much more than just focusing. This is about pushing your brain to its absolute limit in a state of zero distraction. This is where the magic happens. It's how you solve really hard problems, how you learn new things at a crazy fast pace, and how you create stuff that's so valuable and unique that nobody, not even an AI, can easily copy it. Okay, but to get good at deep work, you have to know how your brain actually improves. And to do that, we need to talk about a very popular concept that almost everyone gets wrong, the state of flow. Now, this is a huge insight. We're all chasing that amazing feeling of flow, right? Where everything just feels effortless and fun. But here's the catch. That's not where you get better. According to the research, real growth happens over here in what's called deliberate practice. And look at it. It's mentally taxing. It's pushing past where you're comfortable. It feels like hard work because it is hard work. Basically, flow is when you're performing. Deliberate practice is when you're improving. And this quote from the guy who pioneered the research just says it all. Think about a world-class guitarist. They don't become great by just jamming on songs they already know. No way. They become great by slowing down a ridiculously hard part of a new song and practicing it over and over and over until their fingers ache. That struggle, that feeling of discomfort, that's the signal that your brain is growing. So what does this deliberate practice actually look like? Well, one of the most effective ways to do it is with active recall. This means you don't just reread your notes to learn something. No, you close the book and you force your brain to pull that information out of storage from scratch. It's like trying to teach the concept to an empty room. It feels really hard, and that's exactly why it works so well. It's brutally efficient. Okay, we've talked about the what and the why. Now let's get into the stuff you can actually use. Let's build your toolkit for making deep work a reality in your own life. This might sound a little strange, but your physical tools matter. They send a signal to your brain. Think about a giant whiteboard. It's a space for big, messy, important ideas. Or a really nice bound notebook. You can't just easily rip a page out, so you're a bit more thoughtful. The whole point is to create these little physical rituals that tell your brain, okay, pay attention. What we're doing right now is serious. Let's face it,
A to-do list is just a list of things you hope you might get to. A time-blocked schedule, on the other hand, is a plan. It's super simple. You just give every minute of your workday a job. You look at your calendar, you block out time, and you assign a task to it. It forces you to be realistic about how much time you actually have, and it moves you from just wishing to actually doing. Your environment is absolutely critical. Cal Newport, for example, has his own library in his house with no tech in it. When he needs to do deep work, he takes his laptop in there, and that act alone signals to his brain that it's go time. No phone allowed, no random internet browsing. You need to create your own fortress of focus, a dedicated space that tells your brain it's time to get serious. All right, you can have all the best tools, you can have the perfect schedule, but if your mind itself is constantly twitching for the next distraction, you're always going to be fighting a losing battle. So this last piece is all about retraining your brain. This is another one of Newport's brilliant terms for a totally modern problem: solitude deprivation. Seriously, think about it. With a smartphone in our pocket, we can go an entire day from morning to night without spending one single second alone with our own thoughts. Every moment of downtime, waiting in line, walking down the street, we fill it with a podcast, with music, with scrolling. And that constant stream of other people's thoughts is a huge reason so many of us feel so anxious and burnt out. The fix is incredibly simple, but man, is it hard. You have to learn to embrace boredom again. The next time you're waiting for your coffee, just wait. Fight that incredible urge to pull out your phone. Go for a walk without headphones. When you do this, you're actually training your attention span. It's like doing push-ups for your focus. You're teaching your brain that it doesn't need constant stimulation to survive. And this brings us to the most important point of all. Reclaiming your focus isn't really about what you're giving up. It's about what you're making room for. The people who are really good at this don't just stop scrolling. They actively replace that time with high-quality stuff. They learn an instrument, they have real conversations, they get good at a craft. So when you unplug, you're creating a void. And the real question isn't about the unplugging, it's about what amazing thing you're going to choose to fill that void with.